Welcome to Raging Moderates. I'm Jessica Tarlov, and my guest today is New York Governor Kathy Hochul, my governor. Governor Hochul, it's so good to have you.
Thank you, Jessica. Happy to have a conversation with you.
I want to start with last night. So you were in town, in my town, in Queens, at the big New York is Not for Sale rally for Zohran Mamdani. And it was a Bernie AOC hosted rally as well. You got up and spoke. You talked about, common cause policy that you share with Mamdani, building more affordable housing, which we desperately need, universal childcare, which would be very nice. I have little ones. What was the rally like? How did you feel?
Well, first of all, I live in New York City a great deal of the time, so I'm not just coming into the city. My husband and I live over in Murray Hill area, so I walk the streets of the city.
I am so sorry. That's so embarrassing.
More often than not, it's Albany, upstate, other places, but many days a week when I'm in the city. So I view it's my city too.
Yeah.
But back to last night. No, I'm the leader of the Democratic Party in New York. My job is to unify and bring people together and to be able to stand with the Democratic nominee who won the Democratic primary for an election, which is really important to all of us. I wanted to be out there to show my support and also to talk about the commonality we have. I mean, we really have been talking about affordability. I've been talking about this for a long time. My State of the State just a few months ago, laser focused on how to put upwards of $5,000 back in families' pockets, including helping young parents who are struggling. So there's a lot of common interests, the affordable housing, building much more housing, working on childcare. And, we don't have to agree with each other on everything, and we certainly don't. But that doesn't mean I can't stand there and embrace the moment and the energy. And I called upon those thousands of people, a lot of young people who had not really participated in the process before, to use that energy. Yes, the election's next Tuesday, go for it. But after that, let's take that to the battleground areas of New York so we can win back the House of Representatives. Can I get them to go out to Nassau County and some of the Hudson Valley counties and really expand the movement to elect Democrats against Republicans in November of 26. So I wanted to be there just to, talk about that moment. And it was a great experience. I really enjoyed it.
Yeah, I mean, it looked like a lot of fun and a big political moment, packed house, 13,000 people out there. But while you were speaking, the crowd was chanting back at you, tax the rich.
Well, this crowd is fired up. All right. I can hear you. I can hear you.
That happened a few times. And I was hoping that you could tell me what it felt like to hear that. And then you said to them, I hear you. What did you mean by I hear you?
Well, I literally heard them. I mean, it's interesting when you're in that dynamic. There's a lot of noise coming. There's a lot of cheers when I came out. A lot of people excited. A lot of energy, and then a few people started this chant during parts of it. So I didn't view it as overwhelming at all. I mean, I was able to get through my speech. There's a lot of applause when I focused on the threats from Donald Trump in particular. And this is our commonality here. We have a common enemy. And to get everybody focused on that was really important to me. So yes, I mean, there are people who think we should be taxing the rich. I mean, we can have that debate, but I don't take that personally. That's your right to say that. But thank you for listening to me as I talked about what we can do together. And that's the kind of leader I've been, to bring people together, get to common ground, find solutions, and to govern. And I'll continue doing that with the next mayor as well.
Yeah. So obviously the layup of that you heard them, but we know that Mamdani does want to tax the rich more, bring it up about 2%. He can't do that on his own. You've previously said that you wouldn't be raising taxes. Have you reconsidered that stance?
No, I would say one energetic rally does not get me to change my positions, I assure you. But I do hear people's voices. I process what everybody says, but I'm also have to balance governing this state and making sure that those people who are actually the reason we have a generous, supportive budget that helps lift people up, It's their revenues that we tax. 1.5% of New Yorkers cover about a third of our budget. That's enormous. I'm concerned about outmigration of people who are the ones who are supporting our budget. I cannot make up for that with middle-class tax increases. I cannot do that to the middle class and the struggling New Yorkers. So this is the balance. I mean, this is my position. I'm always having conversations with the leaders of the legislature. We're in regular communication, especially about how we're dealing with the shutdown and the impact on New Yorkers. I mean, these are real problems that I think it's far worse than anyone anticipated. I really do. I think after the big ugly bill was passed last summer, they thought they kicked the pain down the road till after their elections, except this shutdown means I have 3 million New Yorkers who are going to lose SNAP benefits in a matter of days. They're not going to be able to get what they need for their Thanksgiving dinners, much less lunch tomorrow. So that's what we focus on, and I'm working closely with all people, all these different voices coming together again to stand up against Donald Trump.
Yeah, I wanted to talk to you about that. The SNAP benefits, the Medicaid cuts. You've just moved over $35 million in funding so that people can get their Planned Parenthood services, which were also part of the cuts. How are you Trump-proofing our state as best you can, considering budget constraints?
Well, we said this when we first knew what he was up to. $93 billion of our budget comes from the federal government. It is impossible for any state to fully protect us from cuts from this administration. We had $18 billion of federal funds being taken away from the Gateway Tunnel, which if that goes down, it's already been damaged from Superstorm Sandy over a decade ago. If we don't replace that, that could shut down the Northeastern economy. That's the rail lines that go from the entire Northeast. So he shut that down. He shut down the 2nd Avenue subway. I cannot make up for that. What I can do is look at programs where people are being hurt the most, like Planned Parenthood. For many women, especially in the rural parts of our state, that is their primary source of health care. That's where they're getting their life-saving screenings and care for after they've had a baby and contraception and other services as well. So we thought we could support those clinics, important to all of us. And I also announced another allocation of money. I now have $41 million of state dollars to go to food banks and those who can provide food for nutrition for people once the SNAP benefits disappear. But there's also the sense that, we need people to understand there's real pain out there, and you have to use your voices, especially in districts represented by the 7 Republican members of Congress. Let them know how this is hurting you. We can't make all the pain go away. It's impossible. We're doing our best to stop the most dire impacts. But those 7 Republicans have enormous power. If just a couple of them band together, go into the speaker and say, we can't be with you on this. This is hurting our farmers. These nutrition programs hurt our farmers in our districts and our lower income individuals and our small businesses and our main streets. So I think between the Medicaid cuts, the SNAP cuts, people's health care premiums, because they won't extend the Obamacare subsidies, people are going to get sticker shock just in a matter of days. When they get that premium after November 1st, the notice that it could go up 40%. How does a family manage that? So my job is to put that out there. Just did an event today. We'll do more this week. Get people focused on the cause of this. It's Washington Republicans, but there are 7 in the state of New York who are complicit in this attack on the people of our state. And also then when I have to backfill the dollars when we financially can.
Do you see any kind of end on the horizon to this shutdown? I mean, some Republicans have gotten a little bit loud, like David Valadao out in California. But do you see any movement, and do you continue to support the way that Chuck Schumer and Hakeem Jeffries are executing, the Democratic side of this?
If we cave, if we throw in the towel, we surrender, then what happens is millions of Americans will not be able to pay for healthcare premiums. This is about protecting people's health and their lives and ability to get the well visits and the surgeries they need and take care of their most precious family members. No, this is a fight we have to have. We didn't ask for this. It can end tomorrow. Okay. But the president is more interested in talking to leaders of China than he is to leaders of our our House and our Senate, our Democratic leaders. And that's what's wrong with this. He should be back here. The Republicans should be back sitting at their desks in Washington doing their jobs. And they've abdicated. And there must be consequences at the polls for them next year. But it's not too late. I'd rather they reverse course and say, you know what? There's a few of us, but we're starting to add up. You have to stop this insanity.
Yeah. Another way that Democrats, and you've been right out in front on this, are trying to push back on the insanity is to open up their states to redistricting. So after Donald Trump said he wanted Texas to, you have Governor Newsom, J.B. Pritzker, and yourself out there right away. We will do whatever we can. The way that the law works in New York, we need a constitutional amendment, if I'm understanding it correctly, to be able to do this. But what is the status of the New York redistricting project?
Yeah, it's frustrating me because I look at California and they're able to make changes right away that'll be in effect for 2026. Our hands are more tied. There was, a decade ago, there was an independent redistricting commission created, but also enshrined in our Constitution. And that you can't have mid-year redistricting, and it has to be by this, half Democrat, half Republican commission, which we have learned literally leads to gridlock and nothing happens. But stepping back from that, we can change the Constitution. The legislature can pass a constitutional amendment starting in January, anytime in 26. They can do it again in 2027, which is literally the next session. You do 2 consecutive sessions. It can be on the ballot in the fall of 2027. Doesn't help for 26, which I wish it could. I truly do. But we can be in a better position for 2028. Otherwise, we wait till 2032. So we're doing our part in New York. Our hands are more tied than they are in other states.
Yeah. I do think, beyond what can be accomplished in terms of the redistricting itself, that kind of having this united show of force of blue state governors has been very helpful. And you were down on the Hill over the summer with other blue state governors, with J.B. Pritzker and Tim Walz, in front of a committee where your soon-to-be opponent for your reelection, Elise Stefanik, was doing the questioning. She was coming at you pretty hard, especially over sanctuary state policy.
We deserve a governor who stands up for law-abiding New Yorkers, doesn't put illegals first, but actually puts New Yorkers first. I appreciate
rather than going after the viral moment. I suggest you look at the facts.
I'm standing up for New Yorkers.
No.
Rather than addressing the illegals in New York, you are prioritizing your far-left sanctuary state policies, which you put in place with executive orders. Instead of advocating for victims, a 5-year-old who was raped, you did not. They were released because of sanctuary state policies in New York State. No amount of words is going to clean up.
How are you thinking about a potential matchup? I guess it's not set in stone at this point, with Elise Stefanik. And what do you think is, the strongest strategy, I guess, for your reelection?
Yeah, if that hearing in Washington was any indicator of how she's going to run her campaign, I think we're in good shape. I will easily tie her to the Trump policies. She has not just embraced them, but that's really who she's become. And her district is rejecting that. They truly are. I was up at a meeting at a town hall a few months ago. 400 people came out, and these are angry farmers and people upset about the tariffs with Canada, where those communities, those small chambers of commerce, little mom and pop shops are being devastated because the Canadians won't come over because of the Republican war on Canada. She has never spoken up in support of her district or the vulnerable hospitals. These healthcare cuts, the Medicaid cuts, places like New York City will manage. There's a lot of healthcare institutions and will help everybody. But in rural areas where there's just hanging on by a thread anyhow, and they start collapsing, that doesn't just mean that people on Medicaid don't get services. That means anybody. There's not a hospital that used to be there, and she's silent on all this. So I think there's so much ammunition to use, a lot of policies that we can point out where she is in sync with Donald Trump and the Republicans in Washington. And this is a state where we have very different values. New York values dictate that we look out for people. We take care of our seniors. We don't take away their health care. We don't take away food from children. So, I've been in 16 elections now, Jessica. I know how to do this. And this will be one that's very interesting.
Yeah, no, I'm excited about it. Her evolution, I guess, since she got into Congress, she was a Republican that I was actually kind of excited about. And I thought, we could, work together, folks in DC could. And now this kind of rubber stamp for the Trump agenda is a big departure from the Elise Stefanik that we met just a few years ago. Do you feel, looking at, the whole country trended towards Donald Trump in the 2024 election, especially in blue cities? Many read this, myself included, as kind of a pushback against the way that blue governance had been going. What lessons have you learned from the 2024 elections that you think make you a better governor and in better position to be reelected?
Well, it reinforces the fact that we have to never lose the common touch. Sometimes we have Democrats who, think that they need to lecture people and have a 25-point policy plan and don't get out there and roll up their sleeves and walk through the diners and go to the farms and connect with people. That's where I come from. I mean, that's my world. And I embrace that. So I think the moral of the story is don't take any base for granted. Don't think that even, we used to have the working middle-class individuals were on our side, and they just felt that we just got into this space where we're just simply talking about, culture war issues. Many of those just have no relevance to someone who's looking at a big stack of bills at the end of the month with this big worried face about how they're going to be able to manage all this. I come from a world where my parents started in a trailer park. They were able to progress because my dad could get an education when he worked at the steel plant. And so we ended up far better off, but not until I was almost an adult. And so I saw the struggles. My own family, when I was a new mom, I could not find childcare. I had to leave a job as counsel to Senator Moynihan with 2 babies at home, and our income plummeted. I had to buy all the discount clothes and have coupons in my hand when I went to the store to buy diapers and formula. So my point is, we have to be more relatable to our voters and not let them think that we're off in this ivory tower, that we know more than them, that we're elitist. We have to lose that. I never had that, so I don't have to lose it. But my party, I feel, has. And I want to help them see that just act like you're a regular person. We're not better than anybody. We're just in a different position. And our job is to help lift them up and make them believe in government again. And that's what I'm looking forward to over the next campaign as well.
Well, I'll be watching for sure. And it was so nice to talk to you, Governor Hochul. Thank you for your time.
You too. Take care. Maybe I'll see you walking the streets.
I would, 2 city kids. Absolutely.
There we go.